With Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny premiering in theaters later this month, I decided to finally sit down and watch all four movies for the first time, something that I've been wanting to do for a while but just never really got to. If you've been following this channel, you know I've already done the previous three films, so you can see my thoughts for the films there, but today I saw Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. As a refresher to anyone who hasn't seen it in a while, the movie follows famous archaeologist Indiana Jones at the heights of the Cold War, returning from his latest adventure, who finds out his job at Marshall College is in jeopardy. He meets Mutt, a young man who wants Indy to help him find the legendary Crystal Skull of Akator, and the pair set out for Peru. However, deadly agent Irina Speko is searching for the powerful artifact too, because the Soviets believe it can help them conquer the world. I know this movie generally gets a lot of criticism as being the worst of the four, but I really can't understand why. I don't know if I would consider it my favorite Indiana Jones movie, but in my opinion it is probably the most consistent throughout. It is the shortest, so that helps, but unlike the others, there was never a time in this film where I found myself bored and wanting to do something else. I think the action flows much better than some of the other films, and visually it's also much easier to watch. Of course, there were times where it's possible to see some visual effects being used, but it was only because I was looking for it when watching because I wanted to compare it to the other three films. This film did come out much later from the first three, but visually there was never a single moment that took me out of the experience because of how off-putting the shot is. I think Spelko and the Russians are one of the lesser villains of the franchise, but it wasn't a huge turnoff for me throughout the story. I really enjoyed the cast of characters we got for this one, and the family dynamic between Indy, Marion, and Mutt is fun to watch. Oxley felt out of place for the majority of his scenes, but he did have a few good moments near the end. I assume the main criticism of the film comes from the inclusion of aliens, and I can see a bit as to why. It did feel like the ending really escalated out of nowhere, to the point where we see an alien on screen filling Spelko with too much knowledge, and then the city crumbles and disappears. But I did like a lot of the lead up to that, where we get to follow in Oxley's footsteps and recover the information as Jones and Mutt do as well. There's a good amount of history tied into the story, which is something I really love about these movies, and it all tied together really well. And as I mentioned in my other reviews, I really enjoy when we see his day-to-day life as a professor, and while we don't get much of that here since he's fired, his teaming up with Mutt did make more of the story and adventure have that same feeling for me. Comment down below what you think of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and what videos you'd like to see in the future. Remember to like the video, and subscribe for more movie reviews, and follow me on my various platforms listed in the description. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow.